Hi everyone, we are going to dive into a third movement of the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven, and I'm going to share with you a few little secrets. I hope this will help you out, especially if you're an amateur pianist, but I'm sure professionals will find something useful here too. Now, why you should trust me and listen what I'm going to say. My name is Tatiana Kuzmina, I'm a professional pianist, and I've been playing for over 30 years, and I've been teaching for 20. I worked with all kinds of students, from absolutely beginners playing just for fun to high-level students. In fact, I used to teach in the Gnessin Academy of Music, which is one of the prestigious academies in the world. So everything that I'm going to share with you came from my experience, both as a solo pianist and as a teacher. I'm absolutely convinced that you can't play with true virtuosity and high quality if your playing mechanism isn't free and completely relaxed. I've been there myself. I remember trying to tackle very difficult pieces like Rachmaninoff's Third Concerto, and I hit a wall. You know this feeling when you reach the plateau. Up to the point you are doing great, but then you realize that you are just stuck and you can't get the piece to sound the way you actually want it to. That's why I've started to look for my own secrets on how to make playing as comfortable and as high quality as possible while actually enjoying the process. And exact same things applies to the Moonlight Sonata. By the way, playing on electronic keyboard is quite a bit harder than playing on the natural piano, whether it's grand piano or a classical upright. But even so, it's totally possible to make it sound effortless and free. So let's start. So let's go into the Moonlight Sonata. Let's look at the score and uncover the secrets and hidden pitfalls so you can learn how to play it. We want it to sound truly virtuosic and effortless. In my teaching methodology, the absolute number one priority is for your playing to feel easy, comfortable, and completely tension-free. When it comes to amateur pianists, I often see this kind of execution, meaning there is absolutely no wrist movement and zero arm weight. Why does it sound like that? Because when you play this way, you aren't utilizing your arm weight at all. You see, arm weight needs to roll smoothly from one finger to the next. If you keep your wrist completely stiff and static, you simply won't be able to transfer that weight. Picture a rolling ball that it's incredibly fluid and flexible. If you lock it onto the rigid position, it won't roll, and the weight won't transfer. To roll the arm weight smoothly, we have to use wrist movement. This is exactly how we channel that weight. When it comes to this specific section of the Moonlight Sonata, we have these short arpeggios where it is crucial to use these wrist motions. We are literally rolling the arm weight from one finger to the next. At first, it might feel a bit awkward. It might even feel like you're losing speed, as if it would be faster without these wrist movements. But that's a trap. In a fast tempo, these wrist movements become micro movements. They're almost invisible. But that flexibility in the wrist remains. Why do we practice this way? We do it in a slow tempo to really feel the arm weight shifting from finger to finger. I highly recommend practicing this with pause so you can check yourself. During this pause, make sure your hand is completely relaxed and not tense at all. Watch my wrist movements closely and look at how my pen drops after the pause. It drops onto the next figure, the next group of notes, completely relaxed. You should never lift your hand with tension or choke the keys. Pressing down hard only creates massive tension. You might ask, but if I don't press hard, how will the notes sound? I have to push them down. The thing is, when you tense up your hand, you actually cut off your arm rate, and then you do have to force the keys down. But when you completely release your hand and use your full arm weight, trust me, the weight alone is more than enough to play the key. At first, your playing might feel a bit loose or sloppy, but later on, you will find the ultimate freedom. Once you have the freedom down, you can absolutely work on articulation, which is also super important. But a relaxed hand must come first. So make sure to use those wrist movements. Now, if we are talking about a more advanced professional level students in music colleges or academies, what is the main area for improvement here? What I notice most often as an overpressing of the keys. Because you want it to sound professional and solid, you end up creating unnecessary tension, which again blocks your arm rate. You need to train your hand to be fully supported by its own weight. What does it mean? When you drop your hand, you shouldn't over-prepare the shape. Look, this is my playing with over-preparation. My hand is slightly tense. But here, I'm using the full weight of my arm. The mistake is trying to hammer out the notes like this. Sure, in one hand you can practice finger independence, but when you put it all together in performance, well, especially since the score says piano there, pounding out every single note will completely ruin the character of the piece. You just won't be able to manage the speed, and your hands will constantly lock up. And again, playing on a digital keyboard is much harder than on a real piano, believe me. But look at the bright side, if you can make it feel effortless on electronic instrument, playing on a real acoustic piano will be feel a breeze. Here is one more crucial life hack for both amateurs and professionals. You will never be able to play with a relaxed hand on a good quality if you can't sync this music internally. If you just drop a loose hand on the keys without knowing exactly what you want it to sound like, if you don't hear that melody inside you first, you can't play it. You have to hear it first, then execute it. If you don't know what you want to play or what kind of tone color you want to achieve, it's just going to sound like a blurry mess. Our brain always comes first, and their hands follow. So we always combine relaxed hands with an active mind. Only then do you get true freedom. I wish you a super productive practice session with the Moonlight Sonata. Every pianist has unique tension points. Want to know where your specific block is? I can't help everyone, so I take exactly 2 people every week for a free express technique review. Fill out the form below and send a 1-minute video of your playing. I personally choose those who need my help the most. Join the queue via the link.